Steve.
Hey man, how are you?
Great to see you again, mate.
Yeah, it's great to be here, mate. Thanks for
Thank you for
having us.
inviting me to your home where all the magic happens. So, hey, you did the program. How about we start with what you're doing now? So,
Yeah.
BareFit Boutique Group Fitness. So
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, no worries. Well, started back in June 2014. Started training a few clients in a local scout hall down just in Meadowbank, and then pretty much just went from there. And we've got to a point now where we run pretty much boot camps through the BareFit kind of umbrella 16 times a week, and then we've also got 8 different corporate sessions that we run for 3 different companies. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. Like all group fitness. Don't do any personal training or anything like that. Just purely group. And I've got a ute full of dumbbells, so it's almost like a gym on wheels essentially.
So you do this full time as your career.
Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome. So that's amazing. So how about we go back to where you started? What were you doing before you in the fitness profession?
Well,
so
yeah.
you're obviously from the motherland.
Yeah, you got it, mate.
Well, what part of the motherland?
It's a great question. So I initially came to New Zealand. I was travelling, ended up here by accident in 2011. And as soon as I arrived, I did a few different jobs. Literally, was working for a motorhome rental company. Yeah. Then I was working for an insurance company. Then I worked for a travel company. And I just always wanted to start my own business. And I tried to start up a travel company, and I just found like there was too much logistics in the way. And then basically a mentor said to me, the guy that helped me get set up in New Zealand, he said you'd be great at running kind of boot camps, working with people, and that's pretty much where it all started from. I just took his advice and just kind of went for it.
So you've always had a passion for fitness?
Yeah, always had a passion. Well, mainly I'd say fitness, but also people, bringing people together, community. I'd say the fitness and the community, the people has been 50-50.
So you're a people person, you're passionate about people, you're passionate about fitness, and now you've got a double passion.
Yeah.
And now you have that as a career.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, eh?
Isn't it? So how long ago did you do the Max program? What year was that?
Did the Max program end of 2014, and that pretty much, because I remember I had 6 clients when I started doing the Max program, and pretty much since I came out of the Max program, that's when everything kind of went from there. It's just the little bits I picked up on, you know.
So what was the reason why you came to Max?
I was recommended by a friend, another mentor of mine, a guy called Adam, and he was doing amazing things in the North Shore. So like anyone, when they were inspired by someone, you ask them what they're doing, right? Yeah. So I asked him, where's he training, what's he doing? He said, I'm working at Max College. So I was at Max International Fitness College, and I said, well, can I come and check it out? Because I just literally started running, and I wanted to get credible, I wanted to get the education, I wanted to take the business to the next level, not just be one of those, random guys in a park trying to do everything,
Okay, so what is it about the Max program you enjoy? You got out?
Well, I think it's just for me, the main element is the business, the sales, and how to communicate with clients. For me, that was the main thing. Just consolidating everything, what to say when. I would say they're the kind of 3 main things I took out of it. A couple of things you said to me in there, little stuff like make sure you look like the trainer, essentially. And I know it's a bit winter at the moment. Normally when it's summer, I'm looking a little bit different, But winter clothes, I always feel like if someone was to walk past and I was training a group of people, they would see that I was the trainer. And that's one of the things you said, always make sure you stand out as the trainer and look smart and stuff. So that was one of the main things that I kind of got in my head. Also, what to say to clients at the right time, touching, communication, when to say the right things, when you're not being too over the top with people. There's a top there. I suppose that was a couple of the main things that I took from it.
Awesome. So you graduated from Max, then you so tell us how you grew your business into what it is now.
Yeah, cool. So once I left the Max college, the first thing I did was use the tools that you provided, so letters to businesses, like making it colourful, doing colourful newsletters, stuff like that, getting out, walking around, showing your face, telling people what you're all about, and also just really being a connection with people. So when people were to inquire or was to meet people down at the supermarket handing out flyers or at the train station, stuff like that, I would always go that extra mile. So if it was their birthday, send them a birthday card. If they did well in the session, I would send them a little text message to say you did amazing. That's pretty much all I did after Max. For the first 9 months, that's what built my brand, is building deep connections with people to the point where people were like, wow, this guy really cares about my results. And then the first year I did a Christmas party, and that that kind of brought everyone together. Went out for dinner and I did some cool stuff. And I think that has been the main thing that I took on, is bringing people together. And the fitness element is obviously I learned from Max, you know, making it fun. You always said, make it different but the same. You always said, you know, so always have maybe the similar warm up, similar warm down, always have a similar structure, but make it different every time. So people feel like they know what they're going to get, but also they're coming with that spontaneous feel, you know, that they know how they're going to be treated. Yeah, exactly. Music was another thing, you know, I always see trainers kind of, from my experience before, always kind of in their own head, doing their own thing with their own music, and I learned, get out your own head, and you want to be playing music what the clients want. So now I literally just playing like Wham and Luther Vandross, you know, Beatles.
That's sort of the era that the people
yeah,
train.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm listening to it in the car now. I've kind of got into it a little bit. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so tell us now. Well, obviously we're at one of your sites now. You said you used to go into parks, but now you don't always do parks. You do some indoor stuff. So tell us about that.
Good question. So when I first started, I used to train in a park, pretty much for all my sessions. One thing I found, there's a couple of logistic issues with that. Firstly, the setup used to take me an hour and a half to carry all the gear into the park. Secondly, if it was raining and bogged down, all the equipment would get filthy, so I was spending hours cleaning it up. And thirdly, I found the neighbours started to complain when I played the music too loud. So
even if it's Luther Vandross.
I know, exactly. So I had a few challenges like around that. So it forced me to take action and look for somewhere better. So I decided I needed a location that wasn't, it was in a neighbourhood but not necessarily next to someone's house. It was almost like a private site, so I had a good relationship with the person that owned it, so I knew that no one else was going to show up there at the park one day when I wanted to train. I knew I had exclusivity for where it was, but also I know I didn't want that facility. I didn't want like a building. I wanted something that wasn't going to actually cost me an arm and a leg. I was just going to pay per hour to lease it, so I could actually, you know, make a profit, and that was the key thing I was thinking about. And I knew so many business owners that had so many overheads that it was hard to actually make ends meet. So that was one of my big things at the start. So yeah, this was the first location. I was just driving by one day, walked in, I said, hey, do you mind if I use this space for an hour every morning? And because it's like a government, you know, it's kind of government-based kind of site, it's from the community, Auckland Council, I should say, not government, sorry. They want to give back, so, and there was no one using it in the morning, so it was really good timing. I just got in at the right time and I started using this every morning. But also I've got access to the outdoor space, so just to my right.
In the car park?
Yeah, so to your left where you're watching now, there's a massive car park and it's floodlit. So all year round, pretty much, as long as I can, we go outside.
So even early in the morning there's lights,
yeah.
Late at night there's lights.
Exactly. And then this is the winter place. So imagine the space, you know, most people say, I've got this surround sound, so I plug in the MC and I can get all music throughout here, it's banging in the morning. So pretty much everything's just going off and we're having lots of fun. And that was one of the main things. I wanted to make it feel like you're actually training, you're working out, but it hasn't got that kind of gym close to people sweating and smelling and all that
mirrors.
stuff. Yeah, exactly, no mirrors and stuff. And and just simple equipment, you know, that was the main thing, but mainly giving people that 5-star experience that they wouldn't get anywhere else. That was pretty much the goal.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
Thanks.
So this is using the netball court,
Yeah.
here in Auckland. Yeah. So what types of equipment do you use?
So I've got medicine balls, dumbbells ranging from 3 kgs up to 20.
Yeah.
Mats, so I've got really nice mats that I think is really important, and some resistance bands.
Yeah.
What else do I have? I'd say that's pretty much about it. What else? No, I'd say they're the main things.
All goes in the boot and you can do everything with that, can't you?
Yeah, literally, literally it's all I have. But I do have a real large variety of dumbbells and it works really well. I mean, you can do squats with it, you can do some swings, you can do some core rows, the deadlifts, you know, all functional movements you can do with it, which is what I love about it.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you love most about your career now in the fitness profession? I mean, you know, you've done jobs before for insurance and all that sort of stuff. And now, so how do you feel?
Mate, it gets me excited. You know, I was just a student. You know, I pretty much just had a passion. Didn't have any idea what I was doing, and I went out one day with flyers at the train station before I found Max, and I got my classes running. Had 2 clients, and I realised that I have to make this work. I have to keep growing, keep improving myself, and I knew I had something. I had that little bit of confidence in me, but nervous at the same time, to actually make it work. And I think that was the main thing for me, and going back to your question, you were asking about, going back from what I was doing before to now, and why do I enjoy this so much? I'd say I don't have to deal with anyone. Like, I make my own decisions, and I've always been one of those guys that I'm more motivated when I'm telling myself to work. I'm not too motivated with someone else telling me not to work. Sadly, I'm a little bit. Yeah, I know. So I know as hard as I work, I get the output. If I tell myself I need to kick up the bum, then that's the best motivation that I need, and I know that I need. Also, I work my own hours. I create it, and I'm responsible for my own income, and I've always wanted that my whole life, to be honest with you. And working for people before, I found that just commitment, I'd waste so much time in an office all day, and I just thought, God, people spend hours in meetings. I remember when I used to work for a corporate back when I was a student, I did a placement year, and we'd sit in a meeting for 2 hours, and I'd come out of it and go, really, people getting paid hundreds of thousands for. I just personally was like, this is a waste of time. So I actually wanted, I'm not saying I don't agree with meetings and stuff, I know they're vital, but for me, I don't work well in them. I'm one of those guys who just likes to get stuck in, make it happen, and get the results, without too much flapping about. And this basically provided that. You show up, do a good experience, people go home, they talk about you, bang, you get income. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So
Doing what you love.
Doing what I love. And one of the things as well I want to just share, I think it's really important, if you are thinking about doing a fitness business, don't just think about it from your own perspective. And when I say that, I mean, one thing I found when I first started, I was so passionate, I was so wild about doing it. It ended up becoming the Steve Show. So what happened was that I found it hard to take holidays and stuff like that. So one bit of advice I would is go with it, but also bring other people with you as much as you can. Create a good network. And I just want to share one thing, which I think is really important. And this is something that I got from Max, and my business would have never. And that's why I wanted to, that's why I reached out, because I was in a position about 4 years ago where my evening class had 2 people. It was winter, one of the guys said he couldn't train anymore, so I had one person, and I literally was like, business is going to crumble. And there was a Max event on that weekend, and I thought, I need to go to this event to network, meet people, feel part of the community. And when I went to this Max event, I met this guy, would you believe it, and his name was, would you believe it, I can't remember now, but he was a very unique guy, and I'll tell you the guy who he introduced me to. But anyway, I could network with this guy, and he told me that he was working for a company, a boot camp company, and he was a franchise in one of the locations. And I said, well, introduce me to the guy that runs the whole company. Anyway, so he introduced me to the guy that runs the whole company. We got on like a house on fire. Anyway, because we got on so well, he put me on his website. I was able to keep my own brand. And what happened is because he was #1 on Google, people were going to the website and they were clicking on Bootcamp Meadowbank. I was coming up on his website even though I had my own entity. And my business went from like one person to about 15 people in the space of 4 weeks. And that's pretty much what changed my business, is going to that event, networking with that person. It wasn't necessarily that person, hence why I can't remember his name sadly, but I remember the guy Danny who he introduced me to, and that was such a powerful thing. And I just think, it's one thing starting a business, it's one thing doing the classes, it's one thing doing your business plan, but the main thing is when it gets tough, you have to keep pushing through and never give up, and go into the events. There's people that's going to get you to the next level. If you haven't got a website, you need to find someone that's going to help you get a website. If you've got no credibility, find someone that's going to help you get credibility. If you don't know anyone, then you need to go out and meet people, right? And you can't do it from just your shed and hope that someone's going to come and train, right?
Yeah, you can't sell a secret.
No, exactly. So yeah, I wanted to share that.
Well, a lot of people, they set it up and they sit on their couch waiting for people to knock on the door.
Yeah.
Well, if there's no one's knocking, then you open the door, you go out there and you start knocking on other people's doors. Yeah. Because everybody knows somebody, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you do.
That's the power of networking. So you've gone from a normal job to a career in your own business. So what you used to earn to what you earn now, what's the
it's crazy. Do you mind if I share?
Can I share absolutely.
So I, when I first came to New Zealand, I was earning $17 an hour. I think it was like $1,200 a fortnight after tax, and I was like, well, I was doing all right.
$600 a week.
Yeah. And I said, oh, that's all right. And I was working, no joke, for like 50 hours a week. And I was trying to build it up. And then, it's so funny because then I got offered an upgrade in that company for $60,000 a year. I was like, oh, oh yeah, I'm earning 60k now, which was like 1,800 a fortnight, I think, after tax. I was like, oh yeah, doing all right. And then I kind of stayed around that level for ages, and I was like, oh, I'm starting my own business. I don't know how it's going to go. 60,000 is quite a lot. Anyway, fast forward, yeah, I was only earning $200 a week for the first 9 months of starting BareFit, but now, just last year, just on a revenue basis, the business generated 160,000. You know, so that's, you know.
And you're not working 50 hours.
No, 20, 25. Well, we've got 2 trainers. So I've got 3 part-time trainers that run about 30% of the classes. So I'm roughly doing about 20 hours a week. Yeah, don't work weekends, don't work Mondays, have 3 days off a week. Obviously, I've still got the pressure of the business, which basically means that if the trainer can't do it or they're sick, I still have to be there. But that's like 1% of the time, and that's what comes with having a business, right? But yeah, 3 days off a week, and that's the kind of income we're generating, and I choose to spend it how and what I want, really.
So you're earning $100,000 more.
Yeah.
and working less than half the time than what you're doing before.
Yeah.
Choosing your own hours.
Yeah, I know.
Having weekends off, Mondays off. Every weekend's a long weekend.
I'm just going to be really frank as well. Honestly, if I wanted to, and I've worked hard, just to put it out there. I've worked really solidly for 3.5 years to build this. I've built the relationships, I've done the hard yards, but I'm at a point now, if I wanted to, I could probably watch a film every day, if I really wanted to, you know, even though I don't, because that doesn't inspire me.
Yeah.
But I just want you guys to know, it does hard. You have to commit 3 years, I'd say, 3 years of commitment. You have to be a bit strategic.
3 years of commitment for a lifetime of joy.
A lifetime of joy, yeah, exactly. So freedom, and it's just a bit, and you know, the longer you're in the industry, the more you meet people, and you start to become more credible, and then you don't need to market as much. And now it's like people come to me on the website, they just go and they do an inquiry, and then they just call them up, and they either join or they don't. And I use my same systems that I've always had, that I've spent hours setting up, but now they're already set up, you know, like automations that when people join, they get an email, welcome to the session. All this stuff I had to do myself, I had to message, now it's all generated, but you know, it didn't come, you know, it's $180 a month, for example, for that system. You know, before I couldn't afford that. So I would say, guys, just find what you're passionate about, find what your strengths are, speak to mentors, people that know you well, ask them, feel free to reach out and say, can I ask you some honest feedback? What do you think my flaws are, and what do you think my strengths are? And be aware there will be some flaws. Don't take it to heart and go and moan and tell the whole world how much you hate this person, because I'll tell you what, there's 2 people in my life, you know, that have really pushed me to my limits, but I stand here today and I just know I'm forever grateful for those people, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have actually sunk deep into myself and realised I need to get out of this and actually take an action. So yeah, listen to the people, and don't dwindle, don't poddle about. That's a word, and the British word. But yeah, don't mess about. Go for it, because life's short, and before you know it, you know, I'm 32 now. I started this at 20, just turned 27. And like, imagine if I started at 32 and I hung around, it'd been like 38 by the time I get anywhere.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying you have to be that age, but you know, any age is good, but that was just my story.
Well, hey, 50s and you're 30.
Yeah.
So hey, so your business at the moment, how many boot camps do you run per week?
Yeah, so we run every single morning apart from the weekends, every single evening apart from the weekends, and so that's 10, and then we do 13 in the week of BareFit.
Yeah.
So 13 sessions a week for BareFit only.
They're 1 hour sessions?
Yeah, well, 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
And that's just for the public, for the community. And then I also do 2, 4, 6, 8 sessions on top of that for the corporates.
So tell us about how did you get into corporate? You know, you take your model to the corporate.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I know.
So tell us how that happened.
Well, same pretty much story as what I said before about that guy I met at Max. The guy he introduced me to, Danny, who marketed my business and helped me grow. He basically wanted to sell. A few years later, he wanted to sell his business, and we kept in touch. And he basically offered me this corporate contract, and I bought it off him. It wasn't doing too well, and I bought it off him for a couple of thousand. So I actually bought the business real cheap, and in the first month, I pretty much doubled the numbers in there, and then I was earning 3,000 a month. So I bought it for 2,000, and then for the last 3 years, I've been earning 3,000 a month. So So basically that's how I got into that, was a referral essentially. That's the first one. Also the second one was a referral. That was for a client. He recommended me go into this wilderness and run the boot camps in there. So that was that one. And then the third one is Fresh Max. They saw me training Countdown one day, driving past, saw the truck, and basically called me up and said, "Would you do the same for us?" And then the last one that I work at St. Cuthbert School, I do the corporate boxing for the kids. It's corporate, it's like a bit of a teacher. There's like a module they do, and it's kickboxing, and I teach them a little, some of the moves, that you used to teach me, and and that was a referral. So to tell you the truth, I worked hard to market BareFit, but the corporates is pretty much just a knock-on effect for actually starting BareFit.
Word of mouth, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you do a great job, you get the. So you work with how many corporations?
There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, four at the moment, and we got DHL, which I'm in meetings, in talks with at the moment, starting one up. So I predict in the next year or two it'll probably be 50% of the business. That's the way, because I'm kind of not even realising. It's another thing I want to share as well, is that when you start your business, you find out you kind of have an idea of your niche, but you know what I mean. When you actually do it and take the action, that's when you know what your niche is. And I've started to realise I've got a unique product with having all the dumbbells in the back of a van that I can show up to someone's workplace and just do a session like a gym workout, and people want that. It's not much about. So
it's very convenient for them, isn't it? You take the mountain to Muhammad, right? Yeah. You take the gym.
I do all the right. You got it on there, and so that's it. And I also try and provide extra services as well. So, you're welcome if you're watching. Do you mind if I share a little bit?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So if you guys go to BareFit YouTube, you'll see that I do 5-minute workouts, and I have had that professionally done. I did 10 live workouts, and just giving that extra service to people. If they don't join your business and they don't become a client, you can kind of give them freebies. Hey, I know you haven't joined, but and it's Christmas time. Here's a free workout that you can do anywhere you want in the world, and it just keeps them thinking about you. And they do eventually when they do think of getting fit, which people do at some point in their life, they think of BareFit. So just those extra bits.
So where's your future? What's your future? Where can you envision yourself in the future?
Yeah, good question. So I think I'm at a point now where I need to kind of step it up again. I've got the corporate contracts, I've got the BareFit going. I do see myself going down more the corporate route. So that's kind of my long-term vision. Maybe looking at trying to do a bit more marketing around that, bring in more trainers. Always looking for good trainers. So if you guys, if you really want, if you like that kind of, if you don't like working in like a gym environment, as in like the same place all the time, you like to be independent and free to drive around where you want. That's basically our business. Then please reach out, because I'm always looking for.
Because you have 3 trainers now,
right? 3 trainers now.
So how can they contact you?
Yeah, so just barefit.co.nz or steve@barefit.co.nz. Google BareFit, or you can find me through the Max, reach out to Max. I'm more than happy to have a chat, and it's just, you don't have to be the world's best fitness person. You just need to have the right attitude and to have a passion for it and have a commitment in your head. I want to do this for the next 5 years at least. Other than that, because it takes that while to build yourself up.
So where does the name come from?
So it's actually good question. It's actually not my name. I'm going to own up. The mentor who I spoke to you about when I first came to New Zealand, the guy I used to work for, he suggested it.
Okay.
He said BareFit. It's got that, because he always had this feeling of cross-country boot camp, doing boot camps, carrying tyres and going a bit crazy, and he was like, BareFit, it sounds a bit wild. And I just...
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, and he basically gave me the name, and then I took it from there.
Wow. And so, what are some final words or that you can give to someone who's maybe in a job, thinking, geez, I can't see myself here for the rest of my life, but not really enjoy it. I want to get into fitness, I want to get into fitness boot camps, or any form of fitness business. What advice would you give to them?
Well, I'd say, guys, now's the time. I mean, you look at the market, how it's changing. It's rapidly growing. The population's growing over here. The fitness studios are open. You've got the expansion, like different companies, F45. There's all these different new ones coming about now. We're beyond that stage of, working in kind of that personal training specific environment and slogging yourself out and trying to meet make ends meet. Whereas now you're in a position where you know, studios are constantly looking for people because they're like running back-to-back classes like 8 hours a day. They need people. There's systems set up now, so you as a trainer, you go in as a robot. You don't have to really know much, and like you can run a group fitness class because it's all set up like in different studios. They've already got the system behind the scenes, the movements. You don't have to make it up. So it's definitely a good time to get into it. You know, you're probably guaranteed a job at the moment, if you know, at least a part-time job if you got into it, in my view. And I also think if you want to get in, you know, and I think that's a good starting point to just get going, get educated, get an understanding. Like I said, through the Maxed institution, you know, really learn the skills, take it on board, commit to it. Don't just sign up and don't complete. Do everything 100%. Get your reps, get everything all sorted, make sure you've got your health, first aid, and get that credibility, and just go out in the market and call up. I guarantee you, like if you went and called up a gym, or like say if you called up me and said, hey, my name's Steve, I'm just studying at the moment, I really want to get into group fitness, I'd be like willing to chat to you. You just have to show a bit of passion. So if you're sitting there going, I think I should, I'm gonna just be a realist, guys, and said you're just wasting time. You need to just decide now. Just get out there and freaking do it. Don't waste your time.
Love it. Well, thank you so much, Steve, for sharing. And if you want a great workout, come to BareFit. If you want a career, come to Max, and we can get you into BareFit as a trainer. But yeah, life is too short to live your life in a job when you can have a career that you love.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Awesome. Good luck, guys.